Welcome to Intimate Conversations with Francis O'Brien, healing one heart at a time. I'm back with another video. I didn't think I'd be back so soon, but something happened. Something happened, and yeah, it got me really thinking. It got me thinking, and I didn't want to get into a dark place of thinking morbid thoughts and stuff like that. But I'm going to get into that a little later. The title of today's topic is, You Are Not What You Are Going Through. I repeat, you are not what you're going through. If you hear a slight buzzing in the background, there's load shedding, so there's a generator blurring in the background. Apologies. I've had to improvise with the lighting, so I'm using natural light and I'm also using my phone. So I might get distracted and just kind of look that way to my phone. I apologize. Let's get into today's topic. So something interesting happened to me a few hours ago, and I got on the phone and I spoke to my mom about it. And I'm not going to get into it today as to what exactly happened, but what happened prompted me into recording this message. Not necessarily that the title of this message is because of what happened earlier. No, it's something completely different. But let's get into today's topic. So a lot of us are going through very trying times. A lot of us are going through character building phases, perseverance, endurance, testing. They are either going to these issues or these incidents around us are either going to make us positive people, they're going to make us negative people, they're going to make us introverts or extroverts, or it's going to make you the opposite of what you are in terms of your personality. From personal experience, as always, I always tell you guys that when I come on camera, I always talk about stuff that's personal, that has happened to me. And what I'm going to share with you today, I hope that it helps you. I hope that it encourages you. So, as we grow, we go through a lot of phases. We go through a lot of challenges. We go through a lot of very character testing circumstances. Some of you maybe have lost somebody in terms of death. Maybe some of you have gone through a breakup. Some of you have lost your job. Some of you have lost contact or communication with your family. Some of you have had to move to a different state, town, whatever the case is. Whatever the case is, it's something that's testing. It's something that is trying. So today's topic of you are not what you're going through. A lot of us, when we go through these phases, we get fearful and we get embarrassed that the people closest to us, the people around us, know what's happening to us. So I'll use myself as an example. I'm an extroverted person. Actually, I'm an extroverted introvert, which is an interesting description I got from some lady that I met at a trip. And the lady next to her was asking, what's an extroverted introvert? And the way she described it actually made perfect sense. So for those who are wondering, it's somebody who's actually outgoing in personality, but they actually prefer to be introverted. So they keep to themselves, but when the need arises, they do socialize and mingle and stuff like that, which makes perfect sense. It actually describes me to the T. Sometimes when we go through stuff, we don't want people to know, and when people know, we get embarrassed, we hide, we make excuses, we justify. And the older you get, you realize that there's a lot of things that we do that we don't need to do. Make excuses, justify, lie, put up a front, whatever the case is. You are not what you're going through. I will repeat. If you are going through a very dark phase, if you're going through a trying phase, that doesn't mean it is you. It doesn't mean you're surrounded by darkness. It doesn't mean you're surrounded by witchcraft. It doesn't mean you're surrounded by bad luck. Try to have a positive outlook when you are going through these phases. One could be What should I learn from this? How is this building me? How is this stretching me? How is this growing me? Am I tolerating what I shouldn't tolerate? Did I cause this? Am I accountable? Am I responsible? Did somebody cause this? And if they did, do I keep that person in my life? Do I not keep that person in my life? That type of thing. I remember when I was going through a series of really, really horrible things that were just happening one after the other. Sometimes also beware of the company that you keep, because sometimes the company that you keep, when they see these things happening to you, they might be inclined to persuade you to go and visit people. Clairvoyance, people, mediums, I don't know, voodoos, whatever, those people. Tarot card readers, because they want to, in their minds, these people around you are wanting to help you, and they think that's a better way to help you go and visit those people, so that there's an explanation for what is happening in your life. I have experienced that, but I didn't really go to, quote unquote, the dark side, but I went to what I would say were prophets. And I don't think, looking back in hindsight, I don't think those were really legit men of God. Because I wanted an answer as to what I was going through. Because now people were looking at me thinking, what is going on with Frances? Like, you know, did she do something to somebody that is, you know, creating all of these problems in her life? Did she, you know, is this karma? Is this a stroke of bad luck? Is she, you know, is there just ill fortune around her? Those things can put you in a very dark place. They can make you very miserable. They can make you depressed. They can make you doubt yourself. You won't even know. Sometimes you really feel that there's something that you've done, and I'm here to tell you there's really nothing that you have done. If you search your heart and you find that you have been a decent human being, you've been kind to people, you are not a stain. I'm going to put it outwardly. You are not a stain. You are not a problem. You just happen to be passing through very challenging steps in your life that are meant to grow you, that are meant to stretch you, that are meant to make you think out of the box. And I mentioned a list of those earlier on. You don't have to sit and, you know, in self-pity and ask yourself, why are all these things happening to me? This is where you actually need to move closer to God and ask God, please help me get through this. And I'm sure by now we all know we're not supposed to be asking the why me. Then if it's not you, then who? Because everybody is going through their own challenges. Everybody is going through their dark phases and stuff like that. Some people find solace in drinking. Some people find solace in smoking. Some people find solace in drugs. Some people find solace in casual sex. People have got different coping mechanisms. But my message today is that no matter what it is that you're going through, it doesn't define who you are. It's just an experience. Pure and simple. It is just an experience. And I'm sure you're sitting there and thinking, yeah, but Frances, I always seem to be having these bad experiences and stuff like that. As I mentioned earlier on, this is where you need to really sit down and ask God, why am I going through this? What has happened? Did I step on somebody's toes? Did I offend somebody? Is this karma? Why am I going through this? Which is going to lead me into the next thing of, or rather, it's going to lead me to expand into this point that you are not who you are. You're not who you are because of your experiences. Just because you're going through this, it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a person filled with ill luck. It doesn't mean that, not at all. You just happen to be going through a character building phase, and it can be very difficult. It can be very trying. It can be very testing. And you are bound to fall into depression. You are bound to fall into misery. And you are bound also to isolate yourself. You know, sometimes when we go through stuff, we really feel like everybody knows and everybody can see what I'm going through. Sometimes it's also how you carry yourself. If you carry yourself in that posture that, yes, I am just Miss Doom or Mr. Doom and Gloom, you will end up emitting that energy that there's something wrong with you. And you end up coming across like you're depressed and there's something wrong with you and you're miserable and. Sometimes keeping away from people helps. And I will tell you why. Keeping away from people, especially if you're one of those that really cannot conceal their emotions, because like me, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Man, if I'm from going through something, I find it so difficult to have a poker face. I don't even have a poker face. I've really prayed and asked God to give me a poker face, but yeah, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So if somebody annoys me, it's very difficult for me to really not show that I'm annoyed. When you are going through this, staying away from people helps. Staying away also helps if you don't have a poker face, because when you wear your emotions on your face, people are going to ask you, and that's the worst, because now you have to think of a lie to cover up why you look the way you look, or you tell the truth and people are like, oh, there she goes again, or like she's starting again, like her, she's always got something going, like she's always got problems. So you keep away from people so people don't ask you questions. And that forces you to kind of be a loner, for lack of better words. You end up being a loner. And it's not necessarily a good thing, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you may end up running your mouth to people that you shouldn't be running your mouth to. Telling your business on the streets, and you really shouldn't be telling people what you're going through. Just tell yourself, if there's anything that you can take away from this video, it's there's nothing wrong with me. I am just going through a really horrible experience, and I am going to get through this, and I'm going to pass this phase. It's not going to last forever. No condition is permanent. Even happy people get a phase of happiness and then something happens and just wipes away the smiles from their faces. People who are miserable, same thing. You can't be miserable forever. At some point, your tears are turned into joy the following morning. Nothing is forever. Nothing lasts forever. And I know it's so difficult because maybe you're a single mom and you're working and that your money is stretched thin. I've been there. Your money is stretched thin. And then, as I discussed in my previous video, you're always wearing the same clothes. You're wondering if people are going to notice that you're wearing the same clothes. You don't want to sit with people because you don't want them to ask you, isn't that the same jacket you were wearing yesterday? Or aren't those the same shoes? You end up really staying away from people, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like, I don't want anybody to just notice me. Like, don't even, I'm non-existent. You want to live like a non-existent person. Sorry, honey, you're a person. If you go out, people are going to see you. You're not a spirit. They will see you. They will see you. The best advice I can tell you is to really pray through that situation. Pray and ask God to give you strength to get through it. And then ask God why you're going through that. Ask Him why you're going through it. Ask Him to help you get stronger, wiser, better in terms of handling that. And you know, the funny thing is, when this thing happened to me earlier on, I mentioned that I spoke to my mom about it, right? I actually sat on my couch and I put my head on my hand like this. I'm like, God, like really, like I'm really tired of this. Like, I'm seriously sick and tired of this. And then instead of sitting there and wallowing in depression, I'm like, you know what? I am just going to find something to discuss and get on camera. I've got a ton of topics that I've put here. Like I said, I've been going through a lot and I haven't really been coming out on camera to say quite a bit. And then I thought, I'm not going to sit here and wallow. I'm not going to entertain this misery. I've had enough of entertaining this misery. I'm being stretched for a reason. Sometimes it might not be revealed immediately to us. It may be revealed as time goes on. And I thought to myself, okay, God, instead of me sitting here and being miserable, let me get on camera and talk. Let me see what I can discuss, what I can come on camera and share with somebody and really motivate that person. Guess what? I get on my phone and I look at the topics that I have listed. And the first topic is, I kid you not, the first topic is, you are not, no, let me read it now. I have to find it so I can read it verbatim. It's an experience, it's not who you are. For example, what you went through. Human beings are very judgmental, right? Human beings are judgmental. When they see you go through a phase, sometimes, let's take for instance a sex worker. People don't know the reason why certain individuals get into sex work, right? There's a myriad of reasons. Some people just couldn't care less. Some people just like sex. Some people do it out of desperation because they want to put food on their table. And then by God's divine intervention, those people get a stroke of favor and they leave that industry. Now, because people know that this is what you used to do, they constantly associate you with your past. They constantly associate with your past. So even if you try to do something different, you will find people who always pass one statement, which is really annoying. It's a triggering statement. So how did you do it? Or something condescending to say, I wonder how long this is going to last. Or if they see you with them and they're like, oh, I wonder if that's a client. And meanwhile, maybe that's just a friend that you're talking to, a male friend. Or maybe it's just a man who's just probably making a pass at you, or whatever the case is. People will always want you to carry your past or carry your experience as you are trying to move past what it is that you have either been through or what you're going through, depending again on if people know what it is that you're going through. So I'm here to tell you, one, don't even care about what people think about your past. It doesn't matter. There was a reason why you went through that. It's not to make an excuse, but sometimes we don't have really, when we go through stuff, we don't have the best options around us. And whatever it is that we can to hold our head above water, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to do this. This too shall pass. You ride that wave, and then there's another challenge. And then you get people like, yeah, but why did you do that? You shouldn't have done 1, 2, 3. And you're sitting there and you think, I had no choice, so that was the best thing that I could do. That's why sometimes when you go through really difficult things, it's better to not tell anyone, because when you tell someone your problem or you ask someone for help and then they can't help you, and then you find what you feel is the best solution for you, which is disgusting in everybody else's eyes, you get the judgmental looks. I repeat, you are not what you are going through. It's just a phase. It's just a phase. Sometimes it can make you, like I said, a better person. Sometimes it can make you a horrible person. But don't wear your experiences with you everywhere you go. And as I'm telling you guys this, I'm also telling myself, to be honest with you, I'm telling myself that too, that don't wear your experiences. That was what you went through, or that is, and it's going to pass, and this is what you're going through, and it's going to pass. It's not going to be like this forever. You're not going to be where you are forever. I mean, I'm talking about if you're going through a really bad spot, a bad patch in your life. You don't know, maybe you don't have any work and you don't know how you're going to get a job to support your family, and you're doing menial work as a graduate, and everybody's like, but how are you getting through this? How are you doing this? Aren't you a graduate? Yeah. Look, I'm a graduate, duh, I know that. And I would obviously want a better job because I am educated. It should be common sense to you that if I am doing this, it is because I cannot find better. People will always talk. People will always talk. They will always talk. You're not your experience. It will get better. You will get better. You will get out of that situation. You will get out of that pit. You will get out of that hole that you either dug yourself into, or really circumstances just happened. Sometimes you may hang around people and, sorry, I'm looking at my timer. You can hang around people, and sometimes bad company also creates a lot of negative things coming around you. That's why I said take time to actually sit in that situation and ask yourself, why am I in this? Why am I going through this? Is it something that I did? Is it something that I caused? Is it something that somebody else caused? Or is it actually God who's bringing this to me to test me, to stretch me, to grow me? Sometimes these phases can also be very embarrassing. They can be embarrassing, but you know what? Hey, don't worry about the embarrassing part. It's a phase. It's going to finish. It's going to pass. It can be embarrassing now, but you're not going to be embarrassed forever. Excuse me. And those people who remind you of that embarrassing episode that was really cringy for you, that you really, if anything, you could erase that from your past and from everyone's memory, you would. People who will remind you of that are not really people who care about you. If anything, they just want to keep you, because that's how they constantly see you. They see you in that darkness and in that, and you know, some of them even go as far as just proclaiming that nothing good is ever going to come out of that person. Like, she's always good. She's surrounded by ill luck. Sometimes you're surrounded by ill luck because you yourself are not even aware that you've got ill luck, which is friends, family, whatever the case is. And until you get yourself out of that situation and you move to a different environment, will things start to lighten up? Will things start to get better? People who always want to see you there also have their own problems. And those are the kinds who would rather speak evil or speak ill of somebody because they're trying to deflect. They don't want any kind of attention coming to them, because they know that if their skeletons were unleashed or uncovered, it would be horrible. Horrid. So they'd rather focus attention on you. I'll give you an example. You know, in my office space, in my workspace rather, I came across some individuals, and I was going through a really bad time at that time. I mean, you know, my ex at the time was just cheating. I had a sick child. You know, I was repeating quotes. You know, I was just in dark space. Like, I had so much acne. It just looked horrible. And you know, that's another thing. Sometimes when you're really going through bad things, your body takes a toll on you. It's stress. And with Black community, sometimes you feel, yeah, it's witchcraft. They've done her. That's why she looks like that. No, it's the body. You can break. You can have a nasty breakout. Your hair can fall out. It's all stress. People's bodies react in a different way. But most times when the body's going through stress, it reveals in not so nice ways. And that's all you need to just be aware of. It's just your body reacting to the stress that you're going through. So I was going through this, and then sometimes you get to a point where you really can't hide. You really can't hide. And you end up talking about whatever it is that you're going through, right? You talk about it because you're tired of bottling it in. And I was one of those. I really bottle stuff in, and then I got to a point where I was like, I've got no one to share this with, and I'm going to explode. I will explode. You know, you really feel that tightness in your chest, that you feel like you're going to really, not even explode, implode. And unfortunately, that was a big mistake. Anyway, when that issue was when I divulged what I was going through at the time, you get people now asking you, like doing checkups on you every week. So how's that issue going with you? How's that issue? And in your mind, you're thinking, I just told you that then. Could you not remind me of what it is that I went through? Like, I'm trying to get through that phase. And phases, guys, could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years. It depends on what it is that you're going through. I went through that for years. Years. And then you get people always wanting to get tabs on your life. Like, what are you doing? How did you solve that? How did you get through that? Meanwhile, that specific individual also has their problems. But you find that you never really talk about that person's problems that much, because for some reason they just seem to meander the conversation back to your life and what you're doing and how things are going and stuff like that. Those are the people that you need to stay away from. You need to run from those kinds of people. Like, run. Now, this is a workspace this could also be your family, this could be your friends, it could be anyone. This is why I said earlier on that sometimes it's better to just keep to yourself. I know you really feel like imploding or exploding, but hey, also be careful about who you're saying stuff to, hey? Like, be very careful who you open your mouth to, because So, this brings me to the end of my conversation on my topic today. Try not to wear your pain. If you keep your mouth closed and you don't say anything, nobody will know what's going on with you. Just ride that wave. If you really don't want to be, if you don't have a poker face and you don't want to be around people, then don't go around people so they don't pry and prod, try and prod you as to what is going on with you. Why are you like that? Especially if you've got close people who know you. Like, there's something off with Frances. This is not who she really is. There's something big going on with her. If you don't have those questions, then stay away. It's that simple to stay away. And they can formulate their opinions wherever they are. But if you feel you can go out and wear that poker face, go out and wear that poker face. Everybody's going through something. Just because you guys get together in a gathering and you think, oh my God, like everybody's life seems to be moving, people have got issues. If we were to drink, probably, because you know alcohol sometimes is a secret's best friend. Or worst friend, depending on how you want to use it. If people were to drink, stuff that would come out. You'd be like, oh my God, I've become bitter. I actually think I should have shut up. And there's some people who just will not let go. You know, there's people who are just naturally curious about your life. And they just, every time you divulge something, they never seem to forget those intricate details. Meanwhile, when you hear other people's stories, you kind of forget a lot of their details. You just remember the summary, the gist of it. But when it comes to you, they remember every intricate detail. And you think, how on earth did you even remember that? I know I must have said it to you, but why did you even make a mental note of that? Like, who does that? And you're thinking, I need to be wary of you. I need to be very wary of you. Very wary of you. So, you are not what you're going through. It's just an experience. It's just an experience. See it for exactly that. An experience. You're not a Martian. There's nothing wrong with you. You didn't. It's just an experience. And it'll pass. It'll pass. So, I hope that this conversation and this topic helps you. Please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. We'll love to hear what your thoughts are. Please be respectful as well. We're adults. My content, I produce it mostly for adults. Oh, it's raining. It's drizzling rather. It's mostly for adults. So let's be respectful of each other. Thank you so much. If you like the video, please like it. If you want to subscribe, please go ahead and subscribe. I'd appreciate that. If you want to share this video as well, please go ahead and share it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Intimate Conversations with Frances O'Brien. Healing one heart at a time. Till then, be blessed and stay blessed. Bye.